Hello everyone, back to today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather next 4 weeks with the ECMWF 30-day model today. For today's second video, so we're looking at temperature and rainfall anomalies for the next 4 weeks for the UK and the rest of Europe as well. We're at Copernicus.eu for this one. Big thank you to them for giving us the charts. We can extend out to weeks 5 and 6 with this, but we're going to stop at week 4 for this video. You'll be able to see weeks 5 and 6 temperature and rainfall anomalies for the UK and for the rest of Europe as well in the live stream tomorrow from 6 o'clock in the evening. But for this one, it's like a month ahead look at. So we always stop at week 4 for this. So I'll get on that for you very shortly. Just to say that the first video release was just a very quick video confirming that we are now on the grind to 8k subscribers, and something quite especially going to be happening when we get to 8k. So have a look at that video and see what we're going to be doing when we reach 8k subscribers. And also coming up later on today, we're going to have a 10 to 14 day video update including all of regular features that will be coming up later on. Right, let's get on with this one then. So we're starting off with the week 1 temperature anomaly for Northern Europe. This takes us from the 21st to the 27th of September. The coming week looks rather cool in the far north and west of Europe. So Norway down to the UK, into Ireland, through France and down to Spain and Portugal. Temperature anomalies are below average there. Western and Central Europe, just a little bit above average. But over on the eastern side of Europe, much warmer through there, much warmer through the eastern part of Europe. So the warmth that we've had, like over the past 2 or 3 weeks in the north and the west of Europe, looks like being pushed eastwards, looks like being squashed eastwards. So anywhere from like Poland eastwards to the Black Sea and the west of Russia, generally in this swathe just here looking pretty warm with temperature anomalies between around 4 and 6 degrees above average. Scandinavia to the northeast of Europe and around the Baltic Sea also looking warmer than average, especially so again the further east and northeast you go. But as I say, Norway to the north of Sweden, it's a bit cooler there. For Ireland, the UK, we're like 1 to 2 degrees below average, and much of western France is average to below average. Spain and Portugal also coming away with cooler than average temperature anomalies, possibly going down to around 3 degrees below average. Through the Mediterranean, it's a bit of an east-west split as well. So the western part of the Med from Spain over towards the holiday islands of Mallorca, Menorca, Ibiza, Balearic Islands, and then to Corsica, Sardinia, either cooler than average or average. From Italy eastwards, though, it goes much warmer than average, especially so in the southeastern corner. So Greece, Turkey, up towards the Black Sea, yes, looks significantly hotter than average there. And going northwards into the Balkans, for example, and again up that east side of Europe, temperature anomalies are very significantly above average. Week 1 rainfall anomaly also showing an east-west split, so wetter than average conditions pretty much across all areas away from the east of Europe. So like Ukraine back to the Black Sea and into Russia, it's drier than average through there. Anywhere west of that line mode, generally coming out wetter than average by the look of it. So it's a much more unsettled week than we've had through most of September so far. So we've got Scandinavia here with above average rainfall. We've got Ireland, UK, average to slightly above average rainfall. France, generally above average for rainfall. Much of Germany, much of Poland, also above average. And these wet conditions extend down into the Med as well, especially the central bowl of the Med. So from like Corsica, Sardinia, through to Italy, and then over the Adriatic into the Balkans, especially the sort of Adriatic coast of the Balkans, looking very substantially wetter than average through there, with big showers and thunderstorms to be expected. It does look as though the ridge is receding and collapsing eastwards here. Ridge collapsing eastwards, low pressure with the jet stream coming into the northwest of Europe, and this area just here is probably being affected by like a thundery area of low pressure. It's breaking down the ridge, producing thunderstorms, and then introducing that cooler and more unsettled air from off the Atlantic. This is week 2 temperature anomaly, which takes us from the 28th of September to the 4th of October. Look at this. Very, very hot, much hotter than average across northern, eastern Europe and also the northwest of Russia. We're talking about like an autumn heat wave here for the far east and northeast of Europe. So some parts of northwest Russia look like they're around 5 to 6 degrees above average. More widely across the east of Europe, we're talking about temperature anomalies around 2 to 5 degrees above average, very substantially above average. In a line sort of from Scandinavia going all the way down to Greece. Anywhere of that line is very substantially hotter than average. But out to west, it's much cooler again. So significantly below average temperature anomalies for Ireland and the UK. These cold and average temperature anomalies extend down through France. Got the Low Countries as well, probably on the periphery of those cold and average temperature anomalies, and the west and southwest of Germany look like they could be a little bit cold and average. And coming down into the Med, we've got Spain and Portugal and the central basin of the Mediterranean with below average temperatures. Even North Africa below average for temperatures. So a really striking difference here. Northerly winds perhaps coming through here, and southerly winds maybe pushing up through there. Something like that could well be going on. Down into the Mediterranean, again, a real east-west split. Look how divided the Med is. So anywhere from Italy westwards back to Spain, cooler average from Italy eastwards, particularly through Greece and Turkey, and down to Cyprus. Again, very substantially hotter than average through those areas. Week 2, rainfall anomaly looks like that. Generally very unsettled in the northwest of Europe from the 28th of September to 4th of October. So Scandinavia down to Ireland and the UK, into the Low Countries, into France, just about into west of Germany. Yes, we have above average rainfall anomalies through here. In fact, it's quite significant wet average, particularly so through like Denmark up to southern parts of Norway, and then back into the UK and also into northern parts of France. Very substantially wetter than average through there. Further eastwards, it's average to slightly above average for rainfall, actually. But dry and average conditions are pushed right way back into Russia now. So presumably that's where the high pressure is. This area here is probably sort of thundery, I would have thought. And then this area has all been affected by low pressure in from off the Atlantic, I think, and a reinvigoration, re-intensification of the jet stream. Down in Mediterranean, so western parts of Med actually look reasonably dry through Spain and into the central bowl of the Med. Interestingly, over on the eastern side of the Med, so like the Balkans going down that southeastern corner of Europe, it is a little bit wetter than average through there, probably sparking off a few thunderstorms with the heat. Week 3, temperature anomaly continues this east-west split. This is the 5th through to the 11th of October. So again, northern, central, eastern Europe remaining hot and average, not quite as hot in week 3 as it is in week 2, probably because we're going a bit further out, so we're losing a single to some degree. But again, the warmth, the heat is on the eastern side of Europe, from the Black Sea going up to the west of Russia, back to the Baltic Sea, in Scandinavia, down to Poland, possibly eastern Germany, and then down into the eastern part of the Mediterranean. All of those areas look significantly hotter than average, Balkans included again. West of Europe is cooler than average, so this is quite a cool spell coming up, actually, for west of Europe. Very autumnal weather for the west of Europe. So the UK, Ireland, France, Spain, Portugal, just into west of Germany, and Belgium, Holland, Netherlands, looking like it could well be cooler than average to cooler than average through those areas. But particularly the further west you go, the cooler it appears to become. Iceland also with below average temperatures through this week. So again, I would have thought East Europe probably having southerly winds, Western Europe probably having northerly, or at very least northwesterly influences. Through Mediterranean, again, east-west split is clearly in evidence. So from Italy back to Spain and Portugal, it's colder than average. From Italy to Greece and Turkey, it's hotter than average. Proper east-west split in the Med, as is the rest of Europe. Week 3 precipitation anomaly from the 5th through to the 11th of October looks like that. Still hints at being rather wetter than average in the west. Of course, the further out we go, the weaker signal is getting, but still hints at light from southern Norway, probably into Denmark, down to the UK, maybe through Ireland, particularly through France to northern Spain and into central bowl of the Med. It looks as though all of those areas could have above average rainfall. You will notice that it's going drier though across Norway, also looking pretty dry around Iceland and the North Atlantic also looking quite dry as well. This looks to me like it will be indicative of northern blocking. So a mid-Atlantic ridge extending up to blocking around Iceland and Greenland, and possibly over to Scandinavia. So this area and down here looks like it's impacted by high pressure. So blocking highs within the northern latitude, forcing the jet stream southwards. And that's bringing these cooler than average conditions into the western part of Europe. Over on the east side of Europe, so over western Russia, looks like we've got some high pressure through there, extending down to the southeast of Med, and that would of course bring up those southerly winds. Scandinavia is a little bit of a mystery with this, because I would have thought with ridging out here and just there, we would probably be bringing in more of a northerly or northeasterly wind to Scandinavia. So I'm not sure why Scandinavia is quite as warm as it is, unless the high pressure is actually centrally located over Scandinavia. But it looks like it's more towards the Norwegian Sea to me, which you would have thought brings down northerly winds in Scandinavia. So that's a little bit of a mystery, but I think there's definite hints there of northern blocking in the North Atlantic and going up towards Greenland, Iceland, and through to northern parts of Scandinavia as well in that week, 15th of October. And then week 4, which is the 12th through to the 18th of October, week 4 temperature anomaly looks like that. So beginning to lose those cool and average temperatures in the west, but still there to some degree, because the further out we go, the weaker signal is getting, but from Iceland down into the UK, through Ireland, through France, down Spain, Portugal. If anything, we are still on the cooler than average side. Further eastwards across the rest of Europe, generally things are a little bit warmer than average at this point, losing the intensity of the anomaly. So it's nowhere near as warm across the eastern and northeastern part of Europe as it is in weeks 2 and 3, for example. But nevertheless, most parts of Europe still around a degree to degree and a half, maybe up to 2 degrees above average. In the Mediterranean, we still have that east-west split. So southern parts of France, down the Côte d'Azur, down to Spain and Portugal, probably through the central bowl of the Med, holiday islands of the Balearics, generally average to perhaps slightly below average. From Italy through the Balkans and down to the southeast of the Med into Greece and Turkey and up to Black Sea. It's warmer than average through there. Lastly, rainfall anomalies look like that. Again, I think we still have some hints of northern blocking here. Drier than average through Scandinavia, extending to the far north of Scotland and then back up towards Iceland. So to me, it looks like there would still be ridging through this area. Jet stream probably being forced southwards still into like west of Europe. It does look as though it's beginning to get a bit more unsettled through the central bowl of the Med, and some eastern parts of Europe not as dry as it has been. Really. So even on the eastern side of Europe, it looks like things begin to turn a little bit more unsettled. But of course, that is 4 weeks away and is unreliable. And we'll look at weeks 5 and 6 in the live stream tomorrow. So quite an interesting October coming up here with a bit of a rather different to the norm. Normally you expect October to be rather Atlantic driven, quite westerly, quite zonal. That's like the typical pattern you expect in October. This was a bit of a deviation from a typical October pattern, with much more in the way of northern blocking being hinted at anyway, and potentially something quite cold coming along through the first half of October anyway on the western side of Europe. Eastern Europe, again, always looking a lot warmer through there. So yeah, quite an interesting October on the way, if this is right. Also with considerable amounts of rain as the jet stream is forced southwards into the west of Europe. So that's going to be a big change on what we've had, particularly through this September so far. We'll extend out to weeks 5 and 6 in live stream tomorrow from 6 o'clock in the evening. That will take us, of course, to the end of October at that point. So that'll be from 6 o'clock tomorrow. Have a look at the video we released first up today, telling you all that we're on the grind to 8k subs now, and we'll be back later on with your 10 to 14 day video, including all the regular features. So come back for that then. For this one, though, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.